Meanwhile, newly uncovered email raising more scrutiny, that is to say, over Hunter Biden's business ties with China. His business associate, the nephew of notorious crime boss Whitey Bulger, emailed Hunter about a Chinese contact he sat with at a dinner he attended with Joe Biden in China, hosted by President Xi. Bulger wrote, quote, "It would be very helpful if you could please send a brief email to Mr. Tung that would be grateful if he could meet your local partners to discuss the fund," to which Hunter replied in part that he'd be happy to do this. That all comes as a federal judge has ordered the White House officials, a couple of them, including Dr. Fauci and the press secretary, to turn over email with big tech companies as they are accused of colluding to censor info on Hunter Biden and mail-in voting and COVID and stuff like that. Lots to talk about. Let's start once again with Fox News contributor Lara Trump. Hey, Laura, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
So does it surprise you that it sounds like Hunter Biden said he'd be happy to introduce his business associates to these high-ranking Chinese people?
I mean, does it surprise anyone at this point? And gosh, we're getting really messy. We got the Bulger family involved. It's really kind of remarkable. But I think, Steve, every week we get a little more information, it seems, about what we really knew in October of 2020 when the Hunter Biden laptop kind of came to light. We know that while he was vice president of the United States, Joe Biden was happy to have his son Hunter accompany him on all of these official trips. It appears in order to leverage his father's position as vice president to make money for the Biden family. And whether we're talking about China, which we know is true, whether we're talking about Ukraine, Russia, we know that the Biden family has profited to the tune of millions of dollars from all of these countries. And I got to tell you, we all know how different this would be if instead of being Hunter Biden, it happened to be Hunter Trump who had done these things. It would be treated totally differently. And I think people look at this sort of thing and they say, wait a minute, how is it that we have a sitting president of the United States who could potentially be compromised in his decision making based on the things that we know now about his son's business dealings? Joe Biden has repeatedly lied about any information he has had about it. We know that those were lies. We know that he knew. But then you see the fact that they're able to just at the drop of a hat raid Mar-a-Lago. They're able to label parents going to school board meetings as domestic terrorists, yet nothing gets done about this. There's more information leaking out every day that suggests that Joe Biden as president could be compromised, that our national security at a certain point could be compromised by Hunter Biden, by the Biden family business dealings. It is very scary stuff right now.
So, Laura, Hunter Biden, in these emails that Fox Digital has reviewed, said he'd be happy to introduce business associates to top Chinese officials. But I wonder if White House officials are very happy that Karine Jean-Pierre, Dr. Fauci, apparently going to have to turn over their email to find out whether or not they were in cahoots with big tech to tamp down the story about Hunter Biden, or disinformation, as they refer to it, regarding COVID. So it'll be interesting to see what they're able to reveal with that.
Yeah, well, I think we're all very closely watching this. I mean, gosh, how many times were conservatives censored? I know how it happened to me time and time again. They would put a banner at the bottom of anything I posted, just take it offline totally. And the crazy part, Steve, is that so often all of this information has turned out to be true, whether with COVID, whether with Hunter Biden's laptop, whatever it might be. In retrospect, don't forget, not too long ago, they wanted to have a disinformation czar who could be in charge of policing this sort of thing. The bottom line here is that in the United States of America, you cannot stifle people's freedom of speech to fit your political narrative. But that is exactly what it looks like was happening, at least from the White House in this situation with social media companies. This is something absolutely we should pay attention to, because if this sort of thing is allowed to happen here in America, we are no better than China. We are no better than North Korea. It's a very slippery slope from here on out.
Well, we remember back in 2020, big tech called it disinformation about Hunter Biden, just being reported by Fox News, the New York Post, and the Daily Mail. until the New York Times and the Washington Post in the last 6 months or so said, yep, we verified it. It's real. All right, stay tuned. Let's see what happens. Laura, thank you very much for joining us on this Thursday.
You got it.
All right. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.